102.1 mornings with Shmonty and Carolina. Now, last hour, we played an interview that I did with Bar Rescue's Jon Taffer. And I thought I was going to tie it local, you know, because Bar Rescue did episodes out here in Arizona, up in Tempe, and they did a business called Stand Up Scottsdale, and I have previously, you know, worked with them, working in Phoenix and stuff like that. So I figured, you know, I'd give Jon a chance to answer some questions that I had, because there's a little feud between him and the owner, Howard Hughes. Now, as you heard in the interview at 7:30, and it's posted on the Shmonty and Carolina page, my line of questioning blew up in my face, but I still have questions that are unanswered as Jon Taffer hung up. So who better to ask than the other half of that coin? Stand Up Scottsdale's Howard Hughes on the phone. Howard, thank you for calling in, man.
Hey, you're welcome, brother. Good morning, man.
All right. So did you by any chance catch any of that interview? I know you told me, you tell me you listened, but now's the time where I find out if you really did.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay. So, I mean, from my point of view, you know, I have a producer for hire, and basically this guy gets on press tours for me. So I was offered the Bar Rescue interview. I didn't go searching for it, so I thought I was being creative. I saw the Meat Sauna episode. I saw the Back to the Bar episode. And things between you and Jon Taffer were always heated, and you've levied many claims, so I thought I'd give him a chance to respond. And also, I kind of questioned reality TV, so when I brought up, you know, the fights or how, you know, things were portrayed on TV, he took it personally. He took it as an attack versus just addressing an issue. So, I mean, first of all, my question to you, were those feuds between you and Jon Taffer on Bar Rescue, were they real, or were they, you know, reality TV drummed up?
No, they were real. However, people ask always if it's scripted, and it's not scripted on our part. We don't know what's happening. However, it is scripted and contrived on their part. They know the story that they want to tell, and so they just keep up setting situations to put you in that, to get a reaction. And so most of my reactions came from them doing these dopey things, like not seating the table right in the front. I mean, anybody who knows me in the club knows that that's my biggest pet peeve ever. And they asked Marcus not to seat the front table. And then it creates this thing to where I'm just going, look, you're fabricating this. It's a lie. You're being fraudulent right now. So that's why most of that was happening. In the Back to the Bar episode, you know, they made that too. They told me that I'd be going there to have my say, and it'd be like a back and forth that we got to do. And they knew, you know, they wanted to make amends for the first episode because of the way they left it. This is all coming from the producers, and I recorded those calls. And you know, by the time we got there, you could tell. I mean, they were just set up for a hit job. And you know what? Me, if anyone knows me, I'm a emotional, angry guy. And if you want to get those emotions out of me, I'm going to give those emotions to you.
So, and speaking of emotional angry, Jon got that way with me yesterday with my questioning. Specifically, you know, in the editing, you know, he told me I don't have the facts and I'm not professional was how he ended the call. Yeah. But I believe I do have the facts, because the dodo bird reference, that is a punchline of a joke of yours, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, it is. And let me tell you how that whole scene started. They said, just go up there and talk to the crowd. I said, you don't want me to do my act? And they go, no, don't do your act. Just kind of post it, welcome people in. Just talk for 10 or 15 minutes. And that joke is a University of Phoenix joke, you know, that I haven't told in a couple of years at least. But it's about, if you go to the University of Phoenix, you're not resurrecting the Phoenix. You're not rising out of the ashes. You're not bringing back the Phoenix. You're a dodo bird. You're bringing back the dodo bird. You've fallen for this, you know, this marketing pitch of a college. And all they took was the punchline there of you giving a speech to the crowd, and then your dodo birds.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, most definitely.
So again, as Jon pointed out, I wasn't there, but you were there clearly because you were the one on stage holding the microphone talking to the crowd.
Right.
Okay. So then, I mean, I would have given him a chance to address some of these other issues because, you know, right before the Back to the Bar episode aired, you know, Howard Hughes from Stand Up Scottsdale, you addressed that, you know, he took 60 seats out of your clubs. They did things without permits. They did all sorts of stuff that kind of left you hanging in the balance. I mean, people on the internet, I'm sure, have said, "Oh, this guy's just, you know, whiny." Are you whiny, or are there truths to that?
There's a little bit of truth to being whiny, more being angry, and but the fraud that he committed on his viewers and the club is I mean, it's epic in this episode. You know, he's talking about we'll make this an A comedy club. The whole time he was saying that, and I always say you don't understand comedy. This can't be an A comedy club because it doesn't have enough seats to bring in A talent. You don't understand the basic ideas behind what you're talking about. And so he takes out 60 seats to make this huge green room. Many comedy clubs throughout the nation don't have a green room. My existing green room was half the size of the Tempe Improv and Stand Up Live's green room. Matter of fact, headliners loved our green room because it was a space that only they could be in. He tried to sell this, it's where headliners like to entertain. No headliner wants to entertain not one person when they are in a strange town doing comedy. They don't want to meet everybody. It's just the way it goes.
They just want to perform
all by themselves, do their job, get paid, and go home. Well, that's it. That's what the green room's for.
And that's what I always liked about the comics that you would bring through your club. Your Ben Roys or Moranzio Vances, or you'd have Mike Kaplan, you'd have Maria Bamford, Chris Frangiola,
right.
all these guys that would just kill this room, and you'd have such an intimate setting. And that was always the cool thing about Stand Up Scottsdale. Now, that location is closed. Is that correct?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we just finished our auction today for the stuff that we're not taking to our new location, and we're moving to 5101 North Scottsdale Road. Actually, it's the place I started the club, and the previous owners, it was called the Clarion Hotel. There was a wall that was cutting off about a third of the room, and they wouldn't take it down. And we were already at capacity there. So we moved here. The new owners, they are taking down the wall. They gave me a call. They said, we'll take down the wall. Come on back. And so we're going to be opening there February 4th.
February 4th, the grand opening for the new location for Stand Up Scottsdale. Is Jon Taffer getting an invite?
He's going to get an invite. Can I tell one more thing before we leave?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so hardcore fans. Frankie, his bar expert. She comes in, my bartender talks to her for a couple minutes. She says, I'm not ready yet. She stands to the side. They get in her ear and they say, hey, come out, change your shirt, and go back in and stand there like he's not serving you. Watch the episode. We'll see what her shirt looks like in the truck, and then what it looks like in the bar. It's the biggest fraud. It should be illegal. It should be illegal, that kind of fraud.
Well, there you go. And again, you have a podcast too where you talk more about this if people want to hear more of your ranting and raving.
I do. And it's coming out pretty soon. It's called Howard No. And that's what Brandy Beaver said. If anybody is foolish enough to think Brandy Beaver ever had a salary anywhere, much less in my place, you're just not living in reality. She wasn't even an employee at the time of the show. We brought her in just for the show. That's how that went down.
All sorts of inside scoops you can get on
She was never cut anything. She was cut from being a server because she couldn't serve. She was cut from being a bartender because she couldn't bartend. And she was cut from being a cashier because she couldn't cashier. That's what role she played.
So people will get this and much, much more, again, on the Howard No podcast. Again, standupscottsdale.com for the new location, a grand opening on February 4th. And again, Howard Hughes, good to talk to you again, man. Can I get an invite for the February 4th opening?
Of course. You guys both have them.